You know, when I talk about AI voice agents, I would say that every single niche in the next 5 to 10 years is going to absolutely change because of AI voice agents. Whether that be dentist clinics, whether that be salons, whether that be gyms, whether that be anything like healthcare, it's all going to change and upgrade because of AI voice agents. We're going to be doing an inbound caller for a restaurant called Wolfgang Puck, which is a very famous restaurant. I'm sure you all know that. But we're going to be doing an inbound caller that basically has the ability to use a knowledge base or transfer to a live agent and basically be able to book a reservation. And you guys have been commenting a lot saying that we want to see you import the make.com blueprints. Go ahead and do this, build it entirely with us. So I always thought that that was going to be boring, just you guys seeing me build all of this stuff. But I guess we're going to go from scratch, literally importing blueprints to filling it all out to literally doing it and testing it at the end. So without further ado, my brothers, this video is going to be divided in 3 separate parts. We got number 1, the demo. I'm going to show you guys the full call. It's going to be like a short 1-2 minute call. Number 2 is going to be the call flow so that you guys can actually understand what is even going on over here. How are we doing this stuff and how is it even happening, right? Number 3, we got the good enhancement part, which is going to be split in 2 separate parts. We got the Vapi side, in which I create a new Vapi account, go ahead and do all the stuff over there, brand new. And number 2, we got the good old make.com side, in which we create a new make.com account, we plug everything in, and then we just go ahead and, test it out. So without further ado, my brothers, let's get into that good old demo.
Hello, Ibrahim Kashif. Thank you for calling Wolfgang Puck. This is Sophie. How can I assist you today?
Hey, Sophie, I wanted to go ahead and do a reservation. Can you help me out?
Of course, I'd be happy to help with your reservation. Could you please provide the date, time, and number of guests for your booking?
Yeah, so it's gonna be 4 guests, and we want to come in something like tomorrow, 4 p.m.
Got it. May I have your name and email address to confirm the reservation?
Yeah, of course. So my name is gonna be Ibrahim Kashif, and my full email address is gonna be IBR Ibrahim Kashif 2009 at gmail.com.
Thank you, Ibrahim. Let me quickly check availability for tomorrow at 4 p.m. for 4 guests. One moment, please. Great news, Ibrahim. We have availability for tomorrow at 4 p.m. for 4 guests. I'll go ahead and reserve the table for you.
Perfect.
One moment, please. Your table is now reserved for tomorrow at 4 p.m. for 4 guests. You'll receive a confirmation email shortly. Is there anything else I can assist you with?
Yeah, so actually, I had a quick question. Can I request a specific table or seating area?
Yes, absolutely. You can request a specific table or seating area, like one near the window or on the patio. We'll do our best to accommodate your preference. Would you like me to note down a request for you?
Yeah, so I actually had a quick question, actually. Do you guys have any vegetarian options? Any halal options?
Yes, we do offer vegetarian options, such as our seasonal vegetable risotto and roasted cauliflower steak. As for halal options, while we don't have a dedicated halal menu, we can certainly accommodate dietary preferences where possible. Let us know your needs, and we'll do our best to assist.
Yeah, so one more
Would you
question.
like more details?
Yeah, yeah, do you guys do private dining options? Is that an, thing that you guys do?
Yes, we absolutely offer private dining options. We have elegant private dining rooms perfect for corporate events, weddings, or social gatherings. These packages often include customized menus, dedicated staff, and personalized event planning. Would you like me to connect you with our events coordinator for more details?
No, actually, I had one last quick question. How can I provide like feedback? Let's say that I really loved you guys' food and stuff like that. Who should I talk to? How can I provide feedback?
Oh, thank you so much for wanting to share your feedback. You can provide it directly through our website, via email, or by speaking with a manager during your visit. We truly appreciate hearing from our guests. Would you like me to guide you further on this?
That's it. It's that simple, boys. All right, my brothers, we got your guys' favorite part. We got the good old call flow, okay? So if we just dive into the system right over here, it's a very basic flow. We basically do an inbound call. So when the call is triggered, we're basically heading over to make.com to pull the assistant from Vapi, which if people don't already know, that is our provider, our voice agent's provider. That's how we're going to be building a voice agent. So whenever a call is triggered on a mobile number, we're going to go ahead, go into make.com and extract an assistant outside of Vapi to go ahead and connect that call. And this assistant is also going to be a custom memory assistant that can basically retrieve information from specific contexts. And what that means is, like, say that I booked last week, right? It's gonna remember my name, my email, and stuff like that. So when it opens the call inside, the next time I call it, it's gonna go like, hey Ibrahim, what's up, welcome back, man. So it's gonna be a full custom memory assistant. So it's gonna be so cool. And then yeah, after that, basically the call is obviously connected, and then we just go over to our knowledge base. This is the part that's on the call. We go on the knowledge base to basically answer questions like you guys saw in the demo. We asked about the private dining and stuff like that. So we can basically go ahead and just answer from a question answer sheet. This isn't too complicated. It's just a simple question answer sheet that we have inside the system saying that, hey, this is your knowledge. Go ahead and only respond like this. And this is all of the information that you have. And we also have the feature to transfer this to a live agent if needed. So like maybe if it's a complex question, or maybe it's like a specific task that we don't have the answer to, we can just go ahead and say that, hey, we're going to transfer you over to our manager to go ahead and handle this stuff, or a live agent, whatever you want to say. And then after that, obviously it's a reservation agent. So we first check the availability. When I say something like 4 p.m, we want to first check the availability inside the Google Calendar. That's what we're going to be using for this tutorial. But obviously you could connect this to an actual restaurant system like ResOS. But obviously, since this is just like me trying to explain everything to you and the actual psychology behind this system and how it actually works, the functionality, we're not going to be connecting it to ResOS. We're going to be using Google Calendar, but it's the exact same process for whatever system that you're using. We're going to first check the availability of the slot and say that it is full. Then we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna offer available slots. We're gonna go like, hey, you wanted a book at 4 p.m, right? But we're full. Then we can do 4:30, we can do 3:30. So it's gonna be something like that. But say that it's not full, then we're gonna go ahead and book the reservation over here. It's gonna be a nice simple book reservation over here, in which the AI is gonna automatically book it. No need to send a link, email, none of that stuff. It automatically books it. And obviously, if the call is booked, we go ahead and we add them into the CRM, which is basically the exact same database that we have the custom memory stored in. So it's just some Google Sheets with, hey, this is the contact, this is their information and stuff like that. And the end of call report, we got the summary, we got the call recording, and all of our custom parameters. So it's going to be a fun one. So this is what the CRM actually looks like. It's a very basic CRM. We just have Google Sheets over here. We have the name, email, and all of this other stuff over here, the custom parameters. And then we also have the summary, the recording, the call duration, and the call cost. But besides this, I want you guys to know that all of the resources that are going to be used inside this video, including the literal knowledge base and all of the proven prompts that we have over here, is all going to be provided along with the make.com scenarios right over here. All of them, there's 4 different scenarios, 2 different functions: checkability, book appointment. And we're going to give that all inside the link below, so you guys can just go ahead, go over there, download it, and literally follow along with us. And yeah, just to remind you guys, I'm going to be importing my blueprints in with you guys so we can build it all together. So you guys will have the exact process, literally everything labeled. All right, so my brothers, we're on Vapi now, our good old provider. So we're just going to head over to the assistants tab over here, click the platform, click assistants, go ahead and create an assistant. We go ahead and name this whatever we want, something like Wolfgang Puck AI restaurant agent, and we're going to select the blank template, not any of these quick start templates. We're going to build this fully custom. So boom, now we're inside the main console page, and don't worry about all of this stuff over here. We're going to explain everything. It's not complicated at all, already done and dusted for you guys. So just to head over to this first page, we have one tab over here called the model, and this is basically where we can literally change all of the AI agent's brain. So this is going to be our actual prompt. This is going to be our first message, our providers, our models, our knowledge base. This is going to be the literal brain of the AI assistant. And what that means is that how every AI assistant literally works is we first have a transcriber. Like, I want you guys to think of Siri for a second. We first have a transcriber that transcribes what it is that we're saying. So if I were to talk to the AI assistant, it would register what my vocals are saying into literal words, so that we can take those words and then plug them into our provider, OpenAI, ChatGPT, and we can plug that directly into that. It's also called an LLM, a large language model. We can plug that directly into that, and using our prompt, ChatGPT will come up with a response with that and then send it over to a provider like 11 Lab for TTS, text to speech. So in simple terms, we're going to transcribe our speech into words, and then those words are going to go into ChatGPT and use our prompt to come up with a response, and then after that, it's going to take that response into 11 Lab to come up with speech so that we can hear it back. And yeah, so without further ado, that is what this main page is, and we also have some cost and latency. About the cost, every AI voice agent provider out there actually charges on minutes because that's what they're priced at. AI voice agents will always allow you to do infinite calls, no matter how many calls you want to do, but they will always charge you on the very first minute and any minute after that the AI is actually connected. So say that we wanted to do cold calling, right? We would tell you that, hey, we're going to give you infinite cold calling calls, but as soon as the AI starts speaking on the call, that is when we're going to charge you per minute. So as you can see, Vapi has a really nice, minute counter over here where you can calculate your minutes. And obviously we have a Vapi fixed cost of 0.05. It's not too much, but yeah. After that, we have the latency, which is basically ping. So the higher the latency is, longer it takes for your AI to respond. So you want to make sure that your latency is the lowest, but it's also practical, meaning that it's not just too fast that it can't think. And I want you guys to know that the biggest cause of latency is actually the LLM or ChatGPT. So we have to make sure that our prompt is very good and very concise so that we can get to the point and make sure that we're not using a lot of latency. And a good preset value range for you guys is going to be about, so let's say 700 ms latency to about 1400. That's a pretty good latency range value. Anything above that is obviously too slow, and anything below that is probably going to say before it can think. So that's kind of dumb. But yeah, anyway, after that, we also have a talk with assistant button over here, which is a really good feature inside Vapi, in which you can click this button and you're going to be able to hear your assistant live. No need to connect it to Twilio right now. You can just talk to it live. And that is what's known as obviously a web call. So after that, we got a transcriber page. This is where we can obviously choose our transcription provider, our transcriber provider, so that we can actually get all of our speech into words so that the AI can recognize that. After that, we got the good old voice, where we can choose from thousands of voices that they have and all of their multiple voice providers over here. You can just check the voice library tab over here. Genders over here. They have 11 labs, all of the providers. They have accents. They have everything over here, and you can use all of their voices over here. And this is also where we can do our background sound, which is basically like in a real life call, you're gonna have someone murmuring in the background with calls and stuff like that. So say that this is a restaurant, you're obviously gonna want to have background noise of a restaurant. So to do that, we have an office option over here, which basically adds tiny murmurs and call ringing sounds in the background, just to add a little bit more humanness into it. Then after that, we got our good old functions tab, and this is basically where we can go ahead and configure certain tools. And what a tool actually is it's just a specific action that your assistant can do. Either that action is triggered or the AI triggers it without anyone knowing. A triggered action or a triggered tool is something like, can you check the availability? I want it booked in 4 p.m. That is a triggered action. We tell the AI to do that. And this is also where we can configure our predefined functions like the enable end call function, the dial keypad, and obviously our forwarding phone number, the person who we want to forward the call to. And then after that, we got a good old advanced tab, which is basically some specific configurations that we can do, like the endpoint, and then we got stuff like the voice seconds, the back off seconds, the silence timeout, maximum duration, all of the little configurations that we can do to make it the best system out there. And this is also where we can manage one of the most important parts, which is the end of call report. This is all of the details from our call that is being sent to our CRM. So this page over here, this little tab over here, that's where we're going to manage all of that. And then obviously we have some idle messages over here, some basic configurations. And then next we have our analysis tab, which is basically how we're actually going to be formatting our analysis. What are we actually looking for in the call? What type of summary do we want? What structured data do we want? And by structured data, I basically mean something like special requests. This is basically going to tell me what special requests were asked inside the call, what number of guests were they actually, booking for. So these are the specific parameters or the structured data that we extract from the call so that we can store it in a nice, good CRM like this. So without further ado, I guess let's get into literally filling this all out. So to start, we're just going to delete this over here. We're going to go over to our good old prompts page over here, and we're just going to copy the entire system prompt right over here. Like I said, it's all done and dusted for you guys. It took me months to come up with these prompts, but it's all done and dusted for you guys. And we're also just going to be copying this message over here, just this variable message over here, and we're just going to paste that inside the first message over here. Now you guys might be wondering, if you use Vapi before, Vapi does not allow custom variables on their actual engine over here. So how are we going to do this? Well, how we're actually going to do custom memory and how we're actually going to configure this so that our first message is different for an old user or a new user is we're going to go over to make.com, and it's going to be something like this, in which we search the Google Sheets and basically we identify if they are an old customer or not. If they are an old customer, we're going to have a personalized first message. If not, then we're obviously going to go ahead and say that the boring old normal message. And this is what both of those messages look like, so you can just check that out over here. But without further ado, we're just going to select GPT-4o cluster. Now this does have higher latency and it does cost a little bit more than something like mini cluster and stuff like that, but we've noticed that even though it has a little bit more latency, like I said, it has really good functionality and it actually literally works. So we have to make sure that we're good in the latency and we're good in it actually working. Then we're just going to go ahead and set our temperature to 0.2. Temperature is basically how much the LLM or ChatGPT is going to look at your prompt and answer from that specifically. So what that means is that, let's say that my temperature was very low and I said something like this over here, then my AI is going to specifically reply with this when the caller wants to make a reservation. But say that it's all the way up to something like 1 or something like that, it's going to go off of this, but it's going to say something similar. So it's going to be like, yeah, sure, I'll book a reservation for you. How many guests do you want? So it's not going to be the exact wording, but it's going to be something similar. And I found 0.2 is the best place to put it. And then obviously detect emotion is just as it says, it just adds a little bit more information into the LLM. But now we're just going to go ahead ahead and add our knowledge base over here. We're going to click add a new file, choose file, and we're just going to add in our good old knowledge base over here and just wait a few seconds, and boom, we got a good old knowledge base. And like I said, you guys can just go over here, click the file, click download, and just click Microsoft Word's doc and just go ahead and plug this in. So we're just going to go ahead and select that over here, and we're going to click publish. Next, we're going to head over to our transcriber tab, and we're just going to change this to Nova to phone call. Click publish. And this is also where if you guys are creating not an English agent, you can go ahead and change a transcriber to something like French or something like Hindi and stuff like that. So you can change a transcriber like this. And then for now, we're just going to leave the voice as 11 labs, and we're just going to leave this as the default Sarah for now, and we're just going to change this over to Turbo V2. And you guys might already be noticing that, hey, this is going way too high. I've heard about Flash V2. It's obviously much lower latency, but again, I'm saying this really matters about the quality of the voice. So even if it's the fastest voice out there, make sure you have good quality. So that's why we do 11 lab Turbo V2. That is the best one out there. And we're just going to go down over here and just select this as Office and click publish. Next, we're going to go over to the functions, and we're just going to enable end call function. We're going to go over here and just type in our phone number right over here. And that is the phone number that we're going to be using to literally forward the call. So make sure that you type your restaurant's normal number, or maybe your restaurant's manager's number over there, whoever you want to forward the call to. Next, we're just going to go over here and we're just going to enable this good old thing over here. Boom. We're just going to go down over here and we're going to change this to 300 seconds. Right, like this. I never get it on the first try, man. 300 seconds over here. We can leave the other thing as 30. That's fine. We're gonna leave that as that. We're gonna go over here. We're just gonna enable the end of call report, nothing else. Voicemail message doesn't really matter. End call message, goodbye. Idle message, we're just gonna select are you still there, and everything else can just be configured however you want it, but we're just gonna leave it as default. Next, we're gonna head over to the analysis, and we're just gonna go ahead, go over here, and just copy in our already done and dusted summary prompts over here. Boom, copy that, paste that in right over here. Structured data prompt, boom, right over here. Boom, we're going to scroll down. We're not going to do a success evaluation. We're just going to paste that in right over here. Click publish. And now we're actually going to head over to our functions tab, and this is where we have to create our first tools. We're just going to click this, create a new tool. We're going to click new tool over here. We're going to click make.com, and this is where we're going to go ahead and create a brand new make.com account so that we can plug the scenarios and just, fill it all out. All right, my brothers, so we have a brand new make.com account. So the first thing that we're going to do is go over to our good old scenarios tab over here, click create a new scenario, and we're just going to go ahead and click import blueprint, and we're going to choose the good old check availability blueprint. If we just wait, boom, we got a brand new scenario over here. So the first thing that we're actually going to do is disconnect this over here and click save. So actually, one more thing that we have to do before we can save, we have to create a brand new webhook over here. So we're just going to go over here, name this check availability, click save, and now we can copy this, click OK, and then click save over here. So we're just going to take that URL and paste it in right over here, click save over here. There's a lot of saving, okay? We're going to click next, and now we're just going to go ahead and plug in all of this over here. So we're going to do first times. Make sure you guys get this without any like weird spaces like this or whatever. Make sure you get the exact wording over here. Times. Boom. We're going to copy this over here. 10 a.m. Boom. Save. Properties. We're going to do check availability right over here. Make sure there's no weird spaces. We're going to go ahead and copy this over here, paste that in over here. Properties. Like I said, we're just going to go ahead and copy all of this and just slowly paste it all in. It's all done and dusted for you guys. And over here, we're going to copy this over here, click save, click next, paste that in right over here, and we're going to write this as check availability. Click next, and we're just going to do this one moment, please. Just give me a second. Create. And if we just wait a few seconds, boom, we got a good old tool over here with all of our properties. And now we're actually going to go ahead and create a new tool, because like I said, there's two tools that we have to use. So we're just going to follow the exact same scenario as always. We're just going to go first, open a new scenario, open a new tab. We're going to go over here, wait for it to load, and then just instantly go right over here to create a new scenario. And we're just going to name this, or I guess we're just going to import our blueprint in over here. Import blueprint. We're going to choose the correct file over here, book appointment. And we're just going to go ahead, unlink this over here, click this. It's the exact same thing. We're just going to name this book appointment. Click this, save, and we're just going to copy this webhook. And don't worry, we're going to explain this in just a second. But for now, we're just going to copy this and first get done with the Vapi side of things so that we can just go straight into the other stuff. So we're just going to do the exact same stuff over here. Go ahead and copy decided time, paste that in over here. Go ahead and copy all of this stuff over here. Boom. Make sure no spaces. Save. Properties. And boom, that's the last one. We're just going to click save. And as you can see, we have all of our properties over here. So we're just going to copy this over here. Click next. Go ahead and type book appointment over here. Click that in over there. Click next. And of course, the exact same thing. One moment, please. Just give me a second. I'm saying you guys can do this as whatever you want, but the properties and the names stay the same. So now, as you can see, we're actually done with this side. So what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and build out this entire scenario over here. But before we can actually do this, I want you guys to do one tiny step. I want you guys to click this over here, run this scenario. And I want you guys to head back over to Vapi, go over to the assistants, go to functions, and paste this in right over here. Click publish, and I want you guys to talk with the assistant over here and get that webhook triggered.
Thank you, Ibrahim.
So boom, we just went ahead and we triggered this webhook once. So now to explain the scenario, what is happening over here is we're first going ahead and we're getting a response from Vapi when the tool is triggered. And when the tool is triggered, we go ahead and we take that response. We first put it into ChatGPT to turn their something like tomorrow at 4 p.m. over here into actual date and time. So it's not going to be like tomorrow 4 p.m. No, we're formatting it into the correct date and time. And that's just going to be something like a date, time, month, year, and stuff like that. Then after that, we're going ahead and we're first doing a filter to see if it is Saturday and Sunday. If it is Saturday and Sunday, then obviously this is an additional feature, by the way. You're not gonna book on Saturday, Sunday, so we're gonna reply, we're actually busy on weekends. You suggest some other day, as our restaurant hours, not office hours, as our restaurant hours are from Monday to Friday, 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. We're just going ahead and we're sending them saying that, hey, suggest some other time. And that filter just basically looks like, hey, if the days of week equal to Saturday, Sunday, or whatever, or if it's not, then it's just a weekday, then we just do Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. And after that, we're searching the available slots for the time that we formatted over here. So we're just gonna plug that into our Google Calendar to search for the available slots. It's gonna list our entire calendar from the entire day from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. It's gonna list all of the available slots over there. Basically, if every slot is available, then we're just gonna go down over here and we're gonna say that all the time slots are available. Go ahead and book. But if maybe even one slot is booked, then we're gonna run up over here. We're gonna iterate. We're gonna go ahead and create this into a data structure so that we can format our start date and our end date and stuff like that. And then we're gonna plug that into ChatGPT, get understandable dates and time, and go ahead and send that back over to our webhook. So it's gonna run like this. So when we format it over here, it's gonna be something like hour, minute, year, month, stuff like that. So when we put it into this ChatGPT node, it's gonna say something like busy time slots are from 3 p.m. to 4 p.m. and it's just gonna be something like that. It's very simple. So the only thing that you guys really have to adjust over here is gonna be number one, the client variables over here. This is just gonna be your calendar ID and your time zone over here. After that, we just have to connect our ChatGPT account, our Google account, and we're literally good to go. And then one more thing in which we have to create our data structure over here, and then we're good to go. So we're gonna start off by choosing our time zone over here. You guys can select whatever time zone you're in. I'm just choosing America, New York for this example. The time zone hour, that's pretty basic. Just go on Google, search time zone hour for this time zone. You're gonna get your UTC action time zone and stuff like that. A calendar ID, we're gonna leave this as empty right now because we're gonna first connect in the accounts. Obviously, you guys can check over here. You guys might be having ghost variables in here at the very beginning, but it gets automatically mapped if you guys filled in the correct properties inside the tool, inside Vapi and stuff like that. So yeah, basically now we're just gonna head over to ChatGPT over here and we're gonna click create a connection, and over here we're just gonna go into a new tab. We're gonna type open AI and we're just gonna click this over here. It's gonna prompt us to go ahead and log in over here. So just actually gonna go ahead and create a new account. We're gonna sign up because obviously this is a new email that we're running with. So we're gonna go over here, continue with Google over here, and as you guys know, this is a pretty basic process. We're just gonna click our email right over here, wait for that to load, click continue over here, and we can just go ahead and do this as something random. Boom, we can just go ahead and follow the little survey over here, and we're actually just gonna name this whatever, Horizon Test, what best describes you. We're gonna do very technical, create an organization, and then boom, you guys are just gonna have to invite my team later, blah blah blah. And then this is where we can actually go ahead and generate an API key over here. So we're just gonna generate the API key over here, and then just go ahead and copy this right over here. You can head back over to our good old scenario over here, paste that in over here. Now we just have to go ahead and get our organization ID, and how we're gonna do that is by going back over here, going over here, clicking continue over here, leaving this over here. I'll buy credits later. Just going ahead and going over here, going over to your profile and copying in your organization from right over here. Just gonna copy in that ID. Obviously, if you guys couldn't create your API key from that little startup menu that they had, just go ahead and create it from over here. It's very simple. So we're just gonna go back over here and paste in our organization ID, click save. As you can see, we're gonna automatically be logged in right over here. Now, I would recommend for this system, because we're using a free account over here, I would recommend that you guys invest $5 into OpenAI. That's gonna last you literal months. Invest something like $5 to $10 so that you can use GPT-4o. Because if it's a free account, you're not gonna be able to use GPT-4o. You're gonna have to use GPT-4o mini or something like that. So since this is a free account, we're just gonna select GPT-4o mini so that we can go ahead and show this for the tutorial. Like I'm saying again, I very much recommend use GPT-4o so that you limit the amount of mistakes. You're not gonna have any mistakes with 4o, but with mini you're probably gonna have some. So yeah, as you can see, everything is automatically formatted in. We're just gonna click OK over here, and we're just gonna run all the way over here. This is where we're gonna create our calendar connection. So how we're gonna do that is click create a connection. We're gonna go ahead and sign in with Google. It's very simple, a normal login. Go ahead and select your account over here. Go ahead and click continue. Boom, allow over here. We're just gonna go ahead and wait for it to load, and as you can see, it's just gonna automatically plug everything in. And this is where we're actually gonna go ahead and find in our calendar ID, which we have to paste in right over here. How we do that is very simple. Over to calendar over here, we're just gonna open up calendar, and as you can see, it's a very brand new calendar, whatever. So we're just gonna click the good old settings over here. Settings, we're gonna go ahead and make sure that our correct time zone is on. So since we're doing New York over here, we got to make sure that New York all the way up over here, Eastern time. Boom, right over here we got New York -5. So we're just gonna make sure that that is our time zone. We're gonna select our country as where we want this to be. We're just gonna go ahead and find United States. Now, if you guys are doing this for a client, what I would recommend is, if you're doing it on a monthly, go ahead and go over here, add a new calendar, and once your calendar is added, just go ahead and send them the invite of the calendar. You can go ahead and have it on your calendar account, but still can see the calendar and stuff like that. That's how it's gonna work for your multiple clients. But yeah, anyways, we're just gonna go into our calendar over here. This is the one that we're gonna be using for this, and we're just gonna make sure that this is actually in the correct time zone for this client that we're working with. And we're just gonna scroll down all the way over here and get our good old calendar ID. And also, if you guys are wondering, this is also where you're gonna invite your other people or your clients. If you want to do this for a client, just go ahead and add them into this calendar so that they can see the calendar and stuff like that. So we're just gonna head back over here, not over here, over here, and we're just gonna paste that in right over here. Click OK, and our calendar is automatically set. So what we actually have to do now is we're gonna run this module only. We're gonna paste in our calendar ID over here just to start time, something like this. We're just gonna copy paste that in over here and change this to something like 17. Click OK, and now as you can see, it got an actual response. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna fill in this filter over here. So we're gonna go over here, go into conditions, and we're actually gonna select this busy collection over here. We're also gonna do that up over here. Boom, boom. And also one more place, which is right over here. So we're gonna go over here and we're gonna select our busy collection over here. Now the next step that we have to do is we have to create our data structure over here, which again, we're taking the busy time slots from calendar and we're just formatting that into start date and end date so that it's actual time slots that we can use. So we're gonna click create a data structure over here, and we're just gonna name this whatever, test over here. We're gonna add specifications over here. We're gonna go ahead and do this as an array. We're gonna go ahead and name this value. We're gonna do this as a collection over here, and we're gonna add a specification. This is going to be start over here, and this is obviously going to be a date, and we're just going to make this as a new item. Boom, we're just going to do end over here. There's also going to be a date over here, and we're just going to click down over here, save. If we just wait a few seconds, it's going to automatically map the value over here. If you guys don't have this variable, just go ahead and run this module, these three modules once, and you're going to have that variable that you can just plug in. So that we're just going to choose our account over here. Like I said, we have to change this over to the GPT-4o mini because we're on a free account right now. Boom, GPT-4o mini, and if we just wait for this to load, you can see that literally everything is done and dusted and plugged in for you, so you don't have to do anything. And I just want to show you guys this once. You can see, boom, click OK, and as you can see, it's all done for you. We're gonna go ahead and click save over here, and now we're actually gonna go ahead, you guys can run this whatever you want, but we're gonna go ahead and fill out the book appointment function now. So we're just gonna follow the exact same process. We're just gonna do a talk with assistant over here, and we're gonna trigger the book appointment scenario on the other side so that we can play with those details.
Great news. We have availability on Monday at 4 p.m. for 4 guests. I'll go ahead and reserve that for you. One moment, please.
So boom, as you guys can see, we got the good old check availability system working fine, and we got the good old book appointment system triggered. So just to explain this a little bit further, you guys can see that we format the date, and then after we get it from the Google Calendars over here, we have to go ahead and plug it in like this. So that's why we actually go ahead and format this up over here. So anyways, yeah, we're gonna go ahead and play with this scenario now. So we're just gonna link this up over here, and we're just gonna do the exact same thing, connecting our ChatGPT account and stuff like that. Actually, one thing to note is that sometimes when you import a scenario, you might get a broken variable like this. So how you can just fix this, go ahead and plug that variable in again. So we're just gonna type decided time over here. Boom, we can just paste in decided time over here, and that's the variable just done for you guys. To explain this scenario, how it's gonna work is that we're gonna first get the webhook response. Obviously, we're gonna go into ChatGPT to basically identify the start time of when the appointment is actually supposed to be booked, or sorry, when the reservation is supposed to be booked. We're gonna identify the start time so that we can go ahead and plug that into Google Calendar over here to create an event for 30 minutes long. And while that's happening, we're also going ahead and we're adding a row into Google Sheets saying that these guys are actually looking to book an appointment, so we're gonna go ahead and add them into our Google Sheets. Then obviously we send the webhook back saying that it's either been confirmed or it's not been confirmed, meaning that, hey, we had a problem or it's been an issue, let's try again. Like I said, the only thing you guys really have to adjust over here is the time zone hour. Then obviously, as you can see, the custom variables are already done for you guys. You guys also might be asking, why is this a ghost variable over here, the calling phone number? Basically, since we're doing a web call right now, we can't really get a phone number in here, so we just have a calling phone number as the ghost variable over here. So when you're gonna do this as an actual call, this is gonna be automatically mapped for you guys. So just to test out this scenario, I'd like you guys to go ahead and just type in your actual phone number over here in the plus format. So it's gonna be something like +1 949 229, then your good old whatever rest is left over there, and we're gonna click OK over there. That's just for right now to test it out, but when it's an actual call, I want you guys to just have the variable over here so that the variable can do the thing itself. And then yeah, we're just gonna go ahead and connect our Google Sheets account. So it's gonna be automatically connected, but we have to give it access. We're just gonna do the exact same thing over here. Select our email over here, click continue over here, go ahead and click allow, and then it's gonna be automatically connected right like this. Now what we're actually going to do is we're going to open up a good Google Sheets account over here. We're just going to type Google Sheets, whatever, and open up a brand new sheet. There's going to be a blank sheet, and we're just going to go ahead and copy in all of these little headers over here. Now, as you can see, since I've already done it in the other sheet, I can just go ahead and copy this, but it's very simple, basic headers. We got the name, email, phone number, call status, all transferred, reservation status, reservation time, number of guests, special requests, and then obviously we got the good old summary, recording, call duration, call cost, all of this stuff over here. You guys can just name this whatever, but we're just gonna go back over here and we're just gonna go ahead and select spreadsheet ID, which is just gonna be the name of the spreadsheet. We're gonna go ahead and go into the sheet name, and we're gonna select the exact sheet name, which is gonna be sheet 1, and boom. As we can see, it's going to automatically map everything for us. All transferred, commence, and click OK. So basically how this is working is that when it's added into the Google Sheet, we're just going to add the name, the email, the phone number, and the call status saying that, hey, a call is currently in commence. And the person went ahead and they booked a reservation. We'll confirm with you if it's confirmed and stuff like that. So we just add these 4 variables so that after the call is done, we can add the rest of the variables through the end of call report. So we can first search this contact, and then we can add this into their specific contact. And then, yeah, obviously we're going to go over to the Google Calendar and just choose our account over here. As you can see, it's already going to be booked all of this in right over here. We're just going to click OK, and we can click save. Now, the next thing that we're actually going to go ahead and do, we're going to build the custom memory part or the main inbound calling system so that we can retrieve the information to do personalized first messages. Okay, yeah, so we're just going to go ahead, create a new scenario. You guys know how this works. We're just going to go over here, and we're just going to import this blueprint right over here. Boom, choose file, click save, and as you can see, we got the main inbound calling system. So we're just going to disconnect this and first create our webhook. Go over here and go type main calling system over here, click save, and we're going to copy this in over here, click OK, and click save. Now we're actually going to head back over to Vapi, and we're going to go over here and go into our good old settings over here, and we're just going to scroll down into server URL, and we're just going to paste this in right over here. Make sure our secret is going to be something like 1 2 3 4 5, and click save over here. Now basically what's happening over here is that whenever a call is triggered to our phone number, it's going to automatically go ahead and trigger this webhook over here, which is going to basically identify into Google Sheets by searching the rows to see if the contact is inside the Google Sheets or not. And obviously we know that if they're in the Google Sheets, that means that they've obviously booked an appointment. If they're not, then they're a new caller. We don't know them, so we're just going to do a generic first message. So we basically go ahead and create the assistant, or we get it out of Vapi, and we just go ahead and do the basic parsing, the aggregator, and then we just go ahead and send it into our webhook that we can actually go ahead and trigger the call. So without further ado, let's start filling this stuff up. So the first thing that we're going to do is we're going to connect this, and obviously as you can see, we got our phone number over here. Since it's a web call right now that we're triggering, we can't go ahead and plug this in. So basically, just to explain what we've done over here, when we get the phone number, it's going to be in something like a +1 and then whatever comes after that, you know, it's going to be in like that format. So Google Sheets actually does not allow us to have phone numbers with +19 or whatever. It just doesn't add the plus, right? What we have to do is we have to go ahead, and when we're searching the data inside Google Sheets, we have to make sure that we remove the plus from the phone number, and that is what this little function over here is doing. So yeah, we're just gonna go ahead and plug in our little Google Sheets over here so that you can search the rows on Google Sheets. So boom, we're gonna go over here. We're We're gonna select our Google Sheets over here. Actually, we gotta do our spreadsheet first. United spreadsheet, and it's just the exact same process. We're gonna go into sheet name. We're gonna click sheet 1. Go down over here. Boom, boom, boom. Phone number ascending. Okay. And as you can see over here, we have a filter for if the total number of bundles, meaning rows, is 0. That means that they're not inside the system. But if it's equal to 1, that means that they exist inside the system. And basically, if they exist inside the system, we're just gonna update the rows, and we're gonna change the summary, the recording, and the call cost, and whatever else, the minutes, we're gonna change into NANA. We're also gonna change this over to call status as commenced, so that we just have a record. Change this over to call status as commenced, so that we just have a record. Like I said, again, same thing. We have to go into spreadsheet ID. We have to change this over here. Basic stuff over here. Make sure that this is sheet 1. And like I said, we're identifying the row number from this row so that we can update only that contact. So now we get to the fun part. We're gonna actually extract the assistant from Vapi. Now to do that, we have to add a new node, and it has to be an HTTP make a request node, and we're just gonna do the headers as authorization over here, bearer space, and we're just gonna go down over here, raw over here, content type JSON over here, and we're just gonna head back over to Vapi, go over here and go into our API keys so that we can go ahead and copy in our key over here. Obviously you guys can add a key, but I'm just gonna copy it. And we're just gonna go ahead and paste that in right over here, and we're gonna paste in this URL over here. We're gonna delete this ID. Head over to our assistants tab over here and copy this ID. Head over here, paste that in over here, click OK, and we're gonna run this module only. And boom, now we got the data over here. So we're just gonna copy in all of this data over here. Go into JSON editor online, and we're just gonna paste that in right over here. Click format and copy formatted. We're just gonna head over to the new caller first, and we're just gonna paste all of that in right over here. Now actually, before we can run this, I want you guys to head over to your assistant, go into the good old advanced tab, and I want you guys to just paste inside the server URL any webhook that you might previously have from like the book appointment. Just go ahead and copy that, just paste it into the server URL right now, and just type 1 2 3 4 5. Click OK. Click publish. Then I want you guys to go ahead and run this module only. Go ahead and go over here, and we're just gonna copy in all of this data right over here. We're gonna head over to JSON editor online, and we're just gonna go ahead and paste all of that in right over here. Click the format button, and we're just gonna go ahead and copy this as formatted. Next, we're just gonna head over to this variable over here, the set assistance variable over here, and we're just gonna go ahead and paste that in right over here. And now this is where we can go ahead and change our first message to the correct first message. So we're just gonna go over here, delete this, go into our good old prompt sheet, and since this is for a new customer, we're just gonna copy this over here, and then just go ahead and paste that in right over here. And we're gonna paste that in once more, which is gonna be down over here, right over here, the first message, and we're just gonna change this to this and click OK. Now we're gonna do the exact same thing for the other system. We're just gonna copy all of this over here, click OK, and we're just gonna paste that in right over here. But the only difference is that we're just gonna go ahead and change in the first message over here. As you can see, we can just paste in hello first name, so we're just gonna change this first name variable to this name over here. Boom. And we're just gonna copy this, and we're just gonna go ahead and paste that back in the script first message as well. Click OK, and we're gonna click save, because now, my brothers, after we delete this, we are good to go with this scenario. We just have to add the end of call report. So to do that, we're gonna do the exact same thing. We're just gonna open a new scenario, and like always, we're gonna have to create a brand new webhook. We're just gonna go ahead and import a brand new blueprint, choose the correct file over here, click save, and we got a brand new end of call report here. So what's happening inside this scenario is we're basically going ahead and we're getting the end of call report from Vapi, going ahead and we're first sleeping for 60 seconds so that all of the data is collected up, and then we're going into our HTTP node over here, which is basically making a request to Vapi to get the call details. And then after that, we're basically parsing that, we're turning it into correct variables and stuff like that, and then we're inputting that into our Google Sheets over here only if they have booked a meeting. And as we both know, they're only inside the CRM if they booked a meeting, so we go ahead and we update their details into the CRM only if they went ahead and they booked a meeting and they're in the CRM before. So without further ado, let's first start off by going ahead and unlinking this over here, creating a brand new webhook over here. We're gonna name this end of call over here, click save over here, copy this, click OK, and we're just gonna head back over to the main inbound calling, because we have to paste this in all the way at the bottom inside this server URL right over here. Make sure you don't remove any quotations or anything. Go ahead and paste that in over here, and also paste that in over here. Go ahead, go into the bottom. From the bottom up, it's gonna be about over here, and we're just gonna remove this old one, paste that in over here, click OK, OK, and click save. And we're just going to go ahead and paste in our API key right over here. That's going to be found obviously over here inside the API keys. We're just going to go ahead and copy this. We're going to go ahead and paste that in right over here. Make sure there's a space between bearer and the actual API key. And then after that, we're literally done with the HTTP. That's all done for us. We're just going to go ahead and connect our Google Sheets account right over here. Make sure that it's the correct spreadsheet ID and stuff like that. Boom, we're just going to go ahead and add in our last Google connection over here. Boom, and the exact same thing, we have to go ahead and collect this correct spreadsheet ID. Go ahead and click our correct sheet. Boom, we got the row number automatically mapped in, and as we can see over here, everything, all of the structured data is already inputted in here. We just have to turn this into not actual ghost variables. And how we're going to do that is we're going to first go ahead and we're going to go over to Vapi, go to assistance, and we're going to do a first test call over here. So we're going to plan out the entire call basically.
Hello, thank you for calling Wolfgang Puck.
2 guests and tomorrow 4 p.m.
Great. May I have your name and contact?
And boom, as you can see, we can just go ahead and get the call logs from over here. And then we can just go over here, run this module only, and we can just go ahead and paste in our good old ID right over here. You're just going to have to go over to calls, and you're going to get the call ID right over here. Just copy that. Boom, as you can see, we just got our good old call. So we're going to copy all of this data over here. We're just going to go ahead and paste that in right over here. Click OK. And as you can see, we got all of our data over here with our good old analysis and our structured data over here. And now if we just check the last row over here, and as you can see, all of the data is automatically plugged in right over here for us. So we're just going to click OK and click save. So now there's one final step, and that is go ahead and connect Twilio so that we can go ahead and actually get a mobile number to do calls and also get inbound calls. So what we're going to do is we're going to go over to the console page of Twilio right over here. Twilio is basically a free service that you guys can just go ahead and get a free US number to go ahead and use for systems like this with programmable voice. So we're just gonna head to the good old Twilio console page. You guys are gonna have to follow a quick little tutorial to get 3 separate ticks. Obviously the last one is gonna be for actual money inside your account, but you don't have to do that. It's fine either way, but just go ahead and copy in your account info over here. You're gonna get the auth SID and the auth token from over here, and you're also gonna get your free Twilio phone number. And as you can see, we can just go over to the phone numbers tab over here and just click import and just paste in our stuff over here. And boom, just like that, we got a free Twilio phone number right over here, and we can go ahead and use this for actual calls. I don't want you to touch anything over here like assistance or anything like that. Simply call the number and you will see that the main inbound calling scenario will automatically be activated. I hope you guys really enjoyed this video. If you guys are a business looking for a solution like this, go ahead and comment down below. Go ahead and trigger a free AI demo call, and we're gonna go ahead and reach out to you directly. You guys can also test out to see that this is literally the future of every business out there. And like always, my brothers, I hope you guys really enjoyed this video because I actually take a lot of time into this. But remember, the future cannot be withheld. We have to push through and we have to keep on going. Even if you guys are looking to build these and provide this for other businesses, go ahead and join the AI Renaissance. Link down below. It's a school community. So remember, like, comment, subscribe, and always stay hard.